Hey guys, I have a new video for you. Here is a list of all the ways, as a customer, working retail, that you're being disrespectful and you need to stop. Number one, letting their kids run around. It's alright if your kids are just looking around, even if they're potentially causing problems, but there's nothing more disheartening than to see a display I spent an hour putting up immediately get knocked down by some 2-year-old kid who's just backhanding it. Another thing, we have a service bell for when we're in the back. When your kid rings it 40 times in a row, that's disrespectful. Getting immediately impatient. Basically, we see it all the time. Someone's waiting in line for literally 5 seconds, decides we're not helping them fast enough, and uses the self-checkout. Another disrespectful thing, ignoring our advice on the self-checkouts. No, you cannot ring up alcohol on it. The machine will immediately freeze. If you do cough syrup, it'll require an ID check and freeze, and you'll have to manually type it in. But people just think that it's not going to happen to me. Stealing stuff in front of us. This is illegal, but it's just kind of rude because it just dares us saying you can't do jack shit, and it's mean. Now, of course, in terms of stealing stuff, I don't really care if someone wants to, because it's not my problem. Company policy says I'm not allowed to do anything. But when it comes down to it, a lot of times it's someone with a shirt that says Coto de Casa Country Club, and they're stealing because they like the adrenaline rush. It's not this one example of this poor homeless guy who stole two socks from a box of socks because his feet were cold. Now, that's still bad for us, and it's inconvenient because we have to pull the whole thing, even though 2 only got pilfered. But ripping open packages. Basically, to a certain extent, if you need to, say, open some vitamins that are in a paper box to see if it's the right ones, you're allowed to do it. But be careful, because if you damage it completely, we can't sell it. And a lot of times with knee braces and stuff, ice packs, they get put back on the shelf, and people will just steal one. Let's say it's a 2-pack. People will steal one item, seal it back up, and put it back on the shelf. Then a customer will buy it because we very rarely have time to check it, and it'll go back. Making weird payment demands. We had this guy come in with $120 in a change jar, giant-ass pickle jar, gallon one, and demand that we accept it. We decided my boss had to, but it took an hour to count. Checks. Basically, it takes like a minute and a half to process a payment by check. And when the line's stacked, it's a dick move to do. Cash back. We can do it if we have enough money in the drawer, but people will always demand that we do it after 6 p.m. when we've already closed everything out. Berating our profession. Basically, there's these people who will say to their 2-year-old kid, 5-year-old kid, don't become a loser like this guy. Directly point at me and say, this is why you stay in college. Don't want to work here, do ya? It's just mean and insensitive. Another one is not following public safety guidelines. I'm sorry that you feel like wearing a mask is an inconvenience, but technically it's state law, and my district manager has told me to kick out anyone not following it, whereas my boss, since the upswing in demand with COVID is tailing off, says that we serve every customer. Basically, I'm allowed to tell you that you're supposed to put a mask on, but a decent number of times it's either they forgot or they'll ignore you, and it's not worth getting into a fight over minimum wage. Randomly removing their mask when they come to talk to us. Like, we'll be ringing up a purchase. This old man with a fever and a cough will pull down his mask, talk to us while we're ringing, and then cough right in your face. It's just a dick move. Demanding we honor expired coupons. Basically, if it's expired the day before, if you're nice to me, I can probably push it through. But when you give me a coupon for last September, there's no way in hell I can do anything about it. Another thing is asking us religious or political questions. We're not allowed to answer either of them by company policy. But we have this guy who's like, who'd you vote for in the 2020 election? When I don't answer, who'd you vote for in the 2020 election? Who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for? Or this guy who says, do you believe in our Savior Jesus Christ? Do you believe in our Savior Jesus Christ? Like 5 times in a row. And then I finally told him I'm not allowed to answer it due to company policy. But he's like, answer anyway. All those are terrible things to do to us as a retail worker, and they all just show that people nowadays lack all sense of personal or social responsibility. Basically, as a retail worker, you learn a lot of important lessons, but just figured I'd give you a video since I haven't uploaded in a while, and my rant videos are so popular. So I wish people would take responsibility for their actions, and I also wish people would get vaccinated so as not to put me and other people, important workers at risk. If you won't do it for your family, and because those ads in which you see grandma on a ventilator and say, wish we got vaccinated, do it out of societal responsibility. Do your duty to your country and get vaccinated. Anywho, I know this is going to get me a shit ton of flack. If you haven't noticed, I'm at my grandparents' in the middle of the state of Indiana again. I'll probably be giving you some good book reviews on the global t-shirt industry and guy who believes he figured out poverty in third world countries. Anywho, this is Sean Hartnett from my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe.